Gambians are known for their humanitarian nature, very generous and very, and you can hardly recognize a person that is stateless in our dear motherland, the Gambia, because we tend to provide care for each other and share for each other.
So bringing these 1954 and 61 conventions just shows that the Gambia is committed to the enforcement, to joining the rest of the world in enforcing these conventions. But then the practice has already been on here.
The newly sworn-in Member of Parliament, having experienced the first day in parliamentary session, shared her impressions of the day.
I will also add my voice to this important bill that is brought here for my first time. And I will thank the Minister and his team of experts for bringing this bill. I think it is so timely.
Responding to earlier comments and observations by lawmakers, Minister Sonko asserted that both conventions give due consideration to national security and sovereignty. He noted the need to sensitize the citizenry and challenges all to help the police. The motion on the convention relating to the status of stateless persons and their protection were consequently adopted by lawmakers. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
In another development at the National Assembly chamber on Tuesday, lawmakers examined and adopted the Gambia's draft estimates on revenue and expenditure for the 2014 fiscal year. The document, as lawmakers observed, has its goal anchored on improving the lives of Gambians by prioritizing security for sustainable development and poverty alleviation. Details in this report by Fatou Janembai.
Lassie is the Gambia's total draft estimate budget for the 2014 fiscal year. The document was Tuesday scrutinized and adopted by lawmakers, laid before them for the second time by the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Keba Toure. Anchored on the long-term goal of reducing domestic borrowing and poverty alleviation, the draft estimates budget on revenue and expenditure gave to the Interior Ministry the highest individual budget allocation. The idea of giving to the Interior Ministry the highest individual budget allocation as encapsulated in the draft estimates was news welcomed by majority of the parliamentarians.
The areas that has been put and the ranking the way it comes, I am very much satisfied for the fact that, yes, health is important, agriculture is important, but more so, security also is very, very important. You can't go to the farm if you are not secure. Like if you're talking about health and other things, you must be in a stable environment. We have seen exactly what happened in the world. Let's look at the Middle East. For instance, in Syria. And what is the use of their health centers? What is the use of their farms?
Let's be honest. Let's look at it critically. Let's move around the sub-region and make comparisons. Where in the sub-region, not only in the sub-region, where in Africa can you go to pay $5 and even only see a doctor? Nowhere. Not about medicine. Nowhere. Can government provide everybody with the necessary paracetamol and all the ingredients? If you assume that, it's not workable, it's not possible.
I want to say that the government places high priority on agriculture, on health, and that has been evidenced in the budget. If you look at the allocations, 6% goes to health, 7% to agriculture.
Few other lawmakers opposed the development, arguing the highest individual allocations of the budget should be given to the Health and Agriculture Ministries instead of the Ministry of Interior. They argue that the agriculture sector is the backbone of the country's economy and that health is a necessity for both individual and national development.
We have to also upgrade the situation of health in this country. For example, you can find this example in all over. If you go to Banjul Hospital, it is very, very difficult now it is to have medicine in Banjul Hospital, and that of Brikama, which is the major health center. It is a problem all over. It's a general problem in this country. And we have to look thoroughly into those things and put in more money than in interior.
I can't understand if a budget can be called pro-poor budget and that budget did not capture agricultural sector as a priority sector. We all know in this country that 80% of these populations are fed out of agriculture, and we depend on agriculture. And that 80% of the population are considered as the poor people of this, country.
The finance minister defended the draft.
In terms of priority, we are not talking about internal security because we think it's assumed. It's assumed that it's number one, because without peace, there cannot be agriculture, there cannot be health, there cannot be anything. So, in fact, interior should be classified as number one priority because it deals with peace and security. And that has been also reflected in the budget. So I think we have done the right thing by focusing on peace and security as the basis for anything else.
The draft estimate on revenue and expenditure for the 2014 fiscal year was later adopted by lawmakers as it was considered non-controversial but aimed at cutting down domestic borrowing and improving the lives of Gambians by prioritizing security for sustainable development and poverty alleviation.
Reliance Financial Services recently launched a new product called Local Purchase Order Contract Financing Product at the Kairaba Beach Hotel. The newly unveiled product intends to assist vendors and suppliers in financial local purchase order and contract financing needs. Fatou Janembai again.
Services, the Gambia's only homegrown and renowned microfinance institution, enjoyed 7 years of success this year. With renewed commitment to providing financial service needs of the client at the base of economic pyramid, Reliance Financial Services is poised to deliver products and services that meet the peculiar needs of their target customers and to assist vendors and suppliers to finance local purchase orders as well as contract financing needs, with the overarching theme of using savings, loans, remittances and financial education.
Madam Deputy Director, ladies and gentlemen, today's program is about the introduction of and launching of a specific credit product, namely LPO financing, targeted at small-medium enterprises, who collectively accounts for more than 50% of the GDP of any economy, and the Gambia without exception.
Ismail Afal said the significant milestone could not have been possible without the leadership and the enabling environment nurtured by the current government under the leadership of His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh, and expressed his institution's heartfelt gratitude to the Central Bank of the Gambia for overseeing the growth and development of the financial services industry in the Gambia against the background of numerous financial shocks.
Reliance has achieved significant milestones over the last 7 years, some of which include a balance sheet size of $360 million, customer deposits of $230 million, a loan portfolio outstanding of $75 million.
Fatuddin Toure, Deputy Director, Microfinance Department, stated that the initiative is even more worthy of praise as it is born out of the creativity of one of our own homegrown financial institutions. Madam Toure disclosed one of the major pillars of successful financial institutions is the provision of innovative products that are demand-driven and adequately meet the specific needs of their clientele.
The launching of this financing product, ladies and gentlemen, could not have also come at a more opportune time, as many individuals and companies have taken up contract or supply services as part of their core businesses.
The Senior Manager, Career Development and Training at Gambia Public Procurement Authority, Lalo Danso, stated that public procurement is at the heart of business relations between government and the private sector through the acquisition of goods, works and services and consultancy provided by using public funds.
It is therefore evident from the above objectives that fostering the development and growth of small and medium-sized enterprises in the Gambia is a key issue in increasing employment opportunities and raising financial growth. However,